I'm Thomas Brady, and I've known Brother David Brennan for nearly 40 years. Over the years that we were at St. Mary's, we became fast friends, and we worked on lots of projects together. For David, it was this kid in this place at this time, the kid with a smile on his face, the kid whose parents he knew that he worked with on the crab feed. It was always personal, it was always very individual. That's where David really got his hands-on experience of thinking about kids as individuals, thinking about kids whose parents had hopes and dreams and aspirations for them. And it was our responsibility to give those kids an opportunity. And so in the 9 years or so that he was at St. Mary's, he was an extremely important factor to the success of the school, building our way back from the loss of our big school building to the point where we were becoming a place that was known as a place of opportunity for students, a place that could bring kids together from various and different backgrounds, from all kinds of racial and ethnic isolation that their parents experienced living in these different neighborhoods. And together these kids learned to live with one another, to support one another, and to love one another. And that, David had a great part in building that experience for those kids.
I think his biggest gift to this province, to our district, was his ability to pull us all together around the mission, which is the educational service of the poor. Brother David's vision was that we would all be on the same page. The first-year teacher, the administrator who's been around for 20 years, the district leadership, everyone would be on the same page with regard to understanding the mission, to buying into the mission, and feeling that they really belonged here. This was an important piece of, I think, his vision for the district. He's able to make relationships well. And his way, I think, of seeing the continuation of the mission was to know that if it was going to happen, it was going to happen through partnerships, with a lot of people pulling together to pay for it, to have the vision to take it to the next step, and could go on into the future. And at a time when many religious orders were cutting back, were pulling a lot of their resources back, he was someone who said, how can we do this mission better, all of us together? How can we do it better? And his response to that was to open within his tenure 5 new schools. 5 new schools, which is really, it's incredible when you think of where the church is today, where Catholic education is today. The size of our province, we have, at this point, we have 103 brothers. To open 5 new works specifically for the poor in his tenure as visitor. It became very clear to me that sort of the pivotal point of his leadership would be this mission to the poor. But also what I have not mentioned is his insistence in a very practical way that anything that we already had going, what we call our established schools, would in a very concrete way make themselves accessible to the poor.
The great thing that also happened was he began to think of the world, the larger world of the brothers, in which there were 900,000 students around the world in 80 countries, and he began to think, there's a whole world out there where poor kids simply do not have an opportunity to go to school.
My name is Dick Marr, and I've known Brother David Brennan for over a quarter of a century. My family and I have had a long association with the Christian Brothers, starting back in 1975. Brother David was a very compassionate man, not only in the business world when he was chairman of the winery, but certainly evidenced by his actions and leadership in the LaSallian Educational Fund. They believe the only way to break the cycle of poverty is to go ahead and provide an education. Education is the key.
David always had the courage of his conviction. Even if he didn't have the resource, he knew that we had to have the courage to follow through. Out of this vision grew the LaSallian Education Fund, and I think his dreams will bring it to great fruition in the future.